Hey, trainer plants every day. Jordan School coming at you from the S.T.E.M lab, and today I got a little guest with me, my buddy Leo. Just keeping him warm for right now. Take him out, have him say hello. This is my about 3 foot long ball python. Oh yeah, he's feeling nice and warm now. Yeah. Had him for a couple of years now. Um, yeah, not much to say other than he's a pretty well-rounded pet. Real quiet, real easy to take care of. Snakes are probably one of the easiest things to get. One of my personal recommendations: go out and grab a gardener snake or something like that, and get used to them, get them handled for a little bit, and do what you got to do. Eventually, this guy he'll get big. He'll get 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 foot long. Eventually, and I got the cage over there, which is like a 4 by 2 foot by about probably 3 foot high, 2.5 foot high cage that I keep them in. Got a glass front. Pretty easy. Like I said, I usually just keep a couple mouse traps out in the backyard or out in the shed, and when I pop a couple of mouses, I throw them in the freezer. And about every once a week, every week and a half, depending on how really cold he is, it does take a little bit of getting used to. If you get a baby one or something like that, you get one this big right here, you can feed him full-size mice. He could probably take a rat, but you can feed him mice. Ooh, where are you going, bud? You can probably feed him mice about once a week, even 3 to 5 days, if you really want to power feed them and get them growing a lot. But I don't like to let them go that big. Um, but yeah, get a light in there. You can use a 100-watt CFL. Um, that usually doesn't do too bad, but you got to keep them low. Thing about that is if you don't have one of those good heating lamps, they like to climb up the lights and things like that. You really got to rig out the top of your cage with weights and things like that, because even with 3 feet and how big he is, he can push up the lid and stuff like that. So I got to make sure it's weighted down with quite a bit of weight, which I couldn't ever give you a good example for, because everyone's going to be different. Go heavy. Um, but other than that, they're pretty good pets. Like I said, they're quiet. They don't take up a lot of space. Usually they just get balled up and they stay balled up and until it gets really hot or they get hungry and they'll start moving around. And as long as you keep water in there and you keep them fairly clean, they're not too bad. They don't usually mess up their cages, but every once in a while you do have to change out the bedding in there because they'll start to get mites and stuff like that, and they shed and they poop and stuff like that. So you do have to clean them out every once in a while. But I know I was using it a lot for calcium and things like that when I had my garden going. You just crush that up, do whatever. I had a secondary blender that I used and stuff like that. I just crushed it all up inside of that, and really high in calcium and other things like that. And figure out the parts per million for your garden or whatever you're doing. Everyone cut that up, and like I said, they're pretty cool. I love the way they feel. Um, like I said, they're usually, I don't know if I've said it before, but pretty docile. You can just hang right on to them, but you got to get a little bit, um, you got to get them a little bit acquainted to you and stuff like that when you're picking them up. I don't usually pick him up until after I've fed him and waited a couple hours. And then anywhere after you feed them 2 or 3 days. I don't go normally sticking my hand in there when it's really hot and it's been a couple of days since I fed them, because they can get pretty curious about what you're doing. One of the things I do is I rub my hand all over my hair so that way he knows it's me. And just over the course of time, that's a scent he'll recognize, to not bite my hand. And not only that, I'll do a full-size hand so that way the full heat register isn't one little finger or a thumb or something like that. You're just always doing something like that. Um, and again, that's, all snakes usually have that same characteristic. If you're not afraid of snakes, it's one of those things. Now, again, I use some common sense aspects. I never let them get close to my face. This is not a kissing critter, just in case. This is not something you want to get latched onto you. If it's your arm or hand or something like that, you can still pry it off, but you can't pry something off of here. So just as a general rule of thumb, keep them away from your face. Um, Oh, bud. Usually I register the coil zone for what it is. We don't get any closer than that. But again, I don't have any fear for reptiles or anything like that. My brother's petrified. But I managed to get him to hold it once, and the worst thing you can do is be afraid, especially when somebody has it out. You know, it's one thing to reach your hand down in there, and when they get up right up to you, it's a little nervous, you know. But once they settle down a little bit and they smell you, after that it's no problem. You can usually pick them right up. Another thing is I do use a catch pull first. Usually once I break that tendency away from them because that's his cage, they usually go. You know, it's not a big deal. Um, to just reach your hand down in there, you, of course, go to the back of the body or something like that, home bud. Um, they're very good. Real quiet. They don't make no noise. It's cool to look at them. You get a really good terrarium that looks cool. It's a really nice piece of something that you can, you know, decorate out real nice and stuff like that. And they're just really pretty. But he's my buddy. One of them, I got Judo and Hooch and Leo, and of course the cat Pepper. You know, and after that, that's enough. You know, but I'll probably always have one of these guys from now on. This was a friend of mine. She's no longer around. She died in a car accident. Um, but I've had him for 2 or 3 years, anyways. Yeah, certainly two. But he definitely wasn't this big when I got him. He's probably over 3 foot now. But he's a good guy. Like I said, I figured I would just do a video log with him in it. Say hi, buddy. Yeah, there you go. Um, well, that's how big his head is. And again, he'll take a full size mouse. I'm sure you'd almost take a small to medium sized rat right now. You can certainly take it. You know, he's got the girth for it. Um, but you can just give him a lot of mice. He'll eat bullfrogs, stuff like that. You can get pretty exotic on what you can give him during the summertime and stuff like that. But I would recommend being fairly careful with it. Um, Other than that, you know, like I said, this is what it is. I'll probably take a few screenshots with him if I can get him to deck himself out and do what he needs to do so I can get some good pictures with him. And catch you on the next one.